Welcome to Me Reimagined, a space where we step into the impossible version of ourselves, a version we only dream of, so we can create lives we love and the impact we are meant to make. Welcome back, creators. Welcome back, impact makers. Welcome back, my community members, to another extraordinary moment. You've worked hard. You've checked all the boxes and built a life that looks successful on the outside. But inside, you feel like something's missing. You long for more than just getting through the day. You yearn to wake up feeling inspired by your life. You don't get it. Why? Why does your life not feel as good as it looks? What are you doing wrong? Are you just unlucky? The answer, my love, is no. No, you are not unlucky. You have everything you need to design a life of impact and fulfillment, to be the woman living the extraordinary life that you envision. But you need to do a few things differently to get your life beyond social conditioning, beyond others' opinions, beyond what you should do, and beyond your own limiting beliefs. Today, we are going to look at how you can make what feels uncertain, distant, or impossible begin to feel easy, aligned, exciting, abundant, and extraordinary. At Extraordinary Lives, we design transformation from within. We know your limitless potential. Your power is ever present within you. And we know because we've walked this journey. Both Idun and I lived the traditional lifestyle, lived the box-checking perfectionism that left us feeling empty and drained. We both felt broken and not enough. We both asked if there was more than this. And we both discovered that yes, there is a life beyond what you think is possible, beyond what people tell you you can do. There is a life lived by the best possible version of you, a life that is calling you, that is asking you to step up, step in, and to take the risk to lay your heart bare, to try again, even though you're scared. At Extraordinary Lives, we know you're not failing because you're not motivated. You are walking a path that is not yours to walk. Let's take a minute to really consider that. Play with me for a minute. If you can, close your eyes. Imagine you have wings and can fly up over your life. You see it in miniature, a moment in the span of time. Is the life that you are living the one that leaves you feeling unfulfilled? The one that makes it hard to turn off Netflix because living in a show is so much better than your life? The one that makes you crave a glass of wine at the end of the day to obliviate the tension? Is that life yours to walk? If you were looking back at that life, would you say it was well lived? Would you say it was what you were meant to do? How you are meant to contribute? If I said you are the creator, the manifester of it all, you have unlimited potential in this world, would that statement match the life you are living? Is the path that you are walking, the one that you have chosen, is it extraordinary? Oh, love, I know that feeling. The fear that you won't unlock that extraordinary life, that you won't make the impact, you won't have the extraordinary life. That feeling is buried so deep in your bones that it's in the hairs left behind on your pillow when you get up. It's in the tension of your shoulders as you read your email. It's in your sweat as you retie your shoe in the gym. It's in your thumb as you scroll long past what was really interesting. My question of whether the life you have chosen is extraordinary brings up a sense of futile responsibility. You know it's a choice, and you know you're meant for more. But there's also a sense of unfairness. You work hard. You've done everything you were supposed to do. You want an extraordinary life. Oh, God, you want it. And you've been searching. You've read books, taken some courses, but nothing seems to open that door. You feel adrift, a bit lost, confused, restless. You just can't seem to find where you are supposed to go. And you wonder if you'll actually find it. Let me tell you something, love. There is nothing wrong with you. You aren't broken, and you don't need fixing. What you need is to come back to yourself, to remember the fire, the brilliance, the magic that's already inside you. And when you join us at Extraordinary Lives, that's exactly what you'll do. Because here's the truth. You've been pouring your energy into everyone else's dreams, chasing the idea of what your life should look like, and it's left you drained, unsure, and disconnected from your own bold, beautiful vision. But now it's time to pour that energy back into you. You need to redirect that energy toward tapping into and getting clear on the dream that makes you want to get up in the morning. You need to connect to what your intuition tells you is something that will give back more than it takes. You need to give yourself permission to stop trying to be good at the 100 things that don't light up your soul and finally choose the one that does. When Idun and I started Extraordinary Lives, we didn't want to create another self-help program. So we created a holistic journey grounded in 4 interconnected pillars that create a foundation for real, sustainable transformation, not just superficial surface changes. You can transform your ordinary into extraordinary when you start walking the path that is yours to walk. When you do, you'll know you are on it because your life will feel extraordinarily alive, connected, and deeply fulfilled. Begin in 2025 to walk your path with us. Take the risk, open to what's alive in you, and join our community to get intentional with other extraordinary women to create your dream life. Not by chance, not overnight, but intentionally inhabiting the magnetic energy of your future self such that you steadily elevate higher and higher. Join us so that by the end of the year, you can thank yourself for consciously choosing to live an extraordinary life. In this community, you'll find coaches who truly understand you, who've walked this path and know the struggles of overachievement, self-doubt, and longing for more. You'll find transformational learning that works. You'll find a community of women just like you, ready to share wisdom, offer support, and celebrate your wins. Let Extraordinary Lives be your sanctuary for growth, a space where you untangle the old patterns holding you back, build inner clarity and resilience, deepen your relationships, and learn to take bold, values-driven action. This is where you become the woman you've always dreamed of being, not someday, but now. This isn't magic. It's not chance. It's also not rocket science, though I can count the number of people I know who've done this on less than one hand. It's starting now. Starting knowing you are exactly where you need to be to create the life of your dreams. Your life is meant to be big. You are meant for a big life. You know deep down that this is more true than anything else. So in 2025, commit to getting intentional and working through our process that guides you toward extraordinary, though purposeful development in mindset, emotions, connection to self, and decision-making. At Extraordinary Lives, you come together with other overachieving women who know how hard you've worked to check all the boxes, and like you, are experiencing relief at finally directing all of that creative energy, that love, that magnificent talent at the path that is yours. When you catalyze transformation at the deepest level, growing and aligning so that every action, relationship, and opportunity in your external life reflects the extraordinary vision you hold within, that's when everything opens up and life organically becomes extraordinary. Idun and I looked at our lives, our experiences, and training around how we transformed. And we used that to design group work around 4 interconnected pillars. In the first pillar, you deepen your connection to yourself so you know what's true for you, so you show up authentically. In the second pillar, you shift your mindset, how you see yourself and the world. You step into your magnetic future self. In the third pillar, we teach you how to work with your emotions and harness those negative feelings for impact. And in the final pillar, we teach you how to leverage all of that to make bold, previously impossible decisions. Now, that's a big, broad overview of the transformation, which probably sounds amazing, but also still vague enough that it doesn't feel possible. So that's why I'm going to get more specific now, because if you only take away one message from this podcast today, I want it to be that you, just as you are in the situation you are in the life that you are living now, exactly as you are, you can create the extraordinary life that you have inside you. You can and will in 2025 become the magnetic future you. And that's where it begins, love. Let's dive in. The first pillar is mindset. Oh, Jennifer, Jessica, Natalie, Isabel, Laura, Amanda, Sarah, Stephanie, Melissa, Nicole, Heather, Elizabeth, Monica, I see you. I know how those thoughts run around in circles over and over in your mind. You're replaying that conversation from last week, questioning whether you said too much. You're scrolling through social media late at night, comparing yourself to everyone else who seems to have it all figured out. And you wonder, why does it feel so hard for me? What am I missing? Every roadblock feels like proof that maybe your dreams are just too big, too far away. But sweetheart, I can tell you, when you work on shifting your mindset, when you start seeing challenges as opportunities and your flaws as proof of your superhumanity, you unlock something extraordinary. It's like flipping a switch. You stop shrinking to fit the life you're in and start expanding into the life you've always known deep down is meant for you. And then suddenly, your dream life is not too big, not too far away. And when you work with us, when you work alongside other women who are learning to rewrite their stories, you start to realize that those doubts don't define you. We help you shift that narrative step by step. You start to see those challenges not as evidence that you're failing, but as stepping stones to something extraordinary. And then you learn to inhabit the mindset of the new story, to see it, to feel it, and to start acting as if it's true now. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah's this incredible entrepreneur I know, bright, driven, and absolutely full of potential. But when she first started working on her extraordinary life, she was so stuck. She'd built the successful business, but it had come at such a cost. She was working 12-hour days, pushing herself to the brink, and every time something didn't go perfectly, she'd spiral down into self-blame. She told herself she had to do it all, be it all, or she thought everything would fall apart. As for dreams, even though the business was part of her dream, she hadn't imagined it would feel this way, that it would have taken over her whole life, leaving no room for anything else. But as Sarah started doing the mindset work with me, something shifted. Even though she was too tired, too stressed, too busy to create her dream. She began imagining her future self. And instead of shrinking her dreams to fit the circumstances she was in, she began expanding her mindset to fit her dreams in the life that she was living. And then she began to see the world through that lens, even before her dreams had actually happened. And you know what? Sarah stopped saying yes to everything. She streamlined her business. She launched a product she'd been too scared to risk. And not only did her revenue grow, her joy grew. She started sleeping through the night. She stopped doubting every decision. And she had time to live the other parts of her dream that had made it so extraordinary. She met someone because she wasn't only at work and home anymore. She picked up tennis again. She wasn't just running a business anymore. Her life had begun to feel whole. She was living her vision fully and unapologetically. So let's turn to the second pillar of what we'll do together, mastering emotions. Darling, I see how hard you try to keep it all together. You've been telling yourself, I should be able to handle this. I should be stronger. But then the stress piles up, and before you know it, you're shouting at your partner over something as small as dishes in the sink. You replay it later, feeling guilty, wishing you had done it differently. It feels like your emotions are running the show, and no matter how hard you try to stay calm, the frustration keeps bursting through. Here's the truth. Your emotions aren't the enemy. They're trying to tell you something, sometimes very insistently. And when you join Extraordinary Lives, we help you listen to them, not be ruled by them. We help you to understand and to work with them. And oh, love, when you master your emotions, you don't just stay calm with frustration. You start to feel like you again. Emma, a close friend of mine, knows this journey well. Her mornings used to start by checking her email, even before she got out of bed, spiking her anxiety before her feet even hit the floor. She'd rush through her day, and her mind would constantly race, trying to outplan and outperform her schedule. And it wasn't just her work. That stress blended into everything. By the time she got home, she was short with her family, impatient with her kids, and the smallest thing, a whiny tone from her kids, some spilled salt, a meeting request with no explanations or instructions, would send her into a tailspin. She hated how out of control she felt. But when Emma decided to start creating an extraordinary life, she started doing the work. She practiced pausing before reacting, something that felt so unnatural at first and required that she stick her finger in her nose to actually take the pause. Experimenting with different practices, she began grounding herself in simple ways, like taking deep breaths or noticing the feel of her hands on her coffee mug. And she started reflecting on what her future self would do in those moments of overwhelm. And let me tell you, the transformation was beautiful to watch. Emma didn't just calm down, she lit up. She started showing up at work with this new sense of clarity and calm, and her team noticed. Her family noticed. But the biggest shift was how she felt inside. The knot in her stomach that she woke up with every morning, it started to disappear. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was beginning to thrive. The third pillar, built out of our experience and training, is about deepening your connection to yourself, and through that, your connection to others. Oh, love, I know how it feels to be surrounded by people and yet still feel so alone. You smile through conversations, you make plans, you do all of the things you're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, there's this ache, this sense that no one really sees you. And maybe, just maybe, you've started to think, is there something wrong with me? Am I just too much? Am I not enough? But let me tell you this. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are exactly enough, just as you are. And when you join Extraordinary Lives, you'll see that. You'll feel it. Because this is where connection happens. Real, messy, raw human connection. Not the surface level kind, but the kind that reminds you you're not alone, that you're part of something bigger. Laura's story gets me every time. When she first came into our space, she told me how lonely she felt. And not because she didn't have people around her. She did. But her relationships felt hollow. Like she was always giving and giving, but not getting anything back. She'd convinced herself that this was just how it was. Some people get those deep, soulful connections, and some people don't. But through her work on her extraordinary life, something shifted for her. She started reconnecting with herself first, learning to understand and honor her needs instead of burying them. And as she deepened that connection with herself, something magical happened. Her external relationships began to transform. She attracted new friends, women who lit her up, who supported her in ways she didn't even know she needed. And the relationships she already had, they deepened. She met new facets of people she'd known for decades. She started having real conversations with her partner, the kind that left her feeling seen and heard for the first time in years. And she still tells me how she wishes she'd known this was possible sooner. The fourth pillar we designed helps you make bold, values-based decisions. Those of you making fear-based decisions, I see you. You're standing at a crossroads, staring at all the options laid out in front of you, and the fear is creeping in. What if I choose wrong? What if I fail? And so you stay stuck, waiting for clarity, for a sign, or for someone else to tell you what to do. But let me tell you something, love. Your clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from knowing yourself so deeply, so intimately, that you can hear that quiet, steady voice inside saying, this is it. This is your path. And when you work on this alongside the amazing women in extraordinary lives, you learn to trust that voice. You learn to make bold, values-driven decisions, not from fear, but from alignment. Decisions that feel organic, natural, easy. Jessica, for example. Jessica is one of my favorite transformations. I met Jess when she was at a career crossroads. She was torn between staying in the safe, stable job she'd been in for years or taking a leap into something new, something, well, that set her soul on fire but scared her to death. And she was frozen in indecision, overthinking every possible outcome. She tied herself up in knots. And in the meantime, that dream, it felt less and less possible as she got more and more entrenched in her ordinary life. But through the work we did, Jessica started to tune into her values, her real values, not the ones she thought she should have. And when she looked at her options through that lens, the choice became clear. And so she risked. She opened her big heart and followed it. She leapt. She launched her passion project. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. She had moments of doubt, of breath-constricting fear. But Jess powered through by consistently turning her focus and thoughts back to her magnetic future self, and her impact. And now she's thriving. Her work lights her up in ways that her old job never did. And she's built a life that aligns so beautifully with who she is. And when you see her now, she glows because she feels so free. If you are still listening, you know that you are ready to transform, to feel alive again, to immerse yourself in your extraordinary life. The best way you can do that is to do the work surrounded by other magnificent women who are also doing the work. Use the link in the show notes to connect with us and join Extraordinary Lives. I guarantee you'll look back at the best decision you ever made, and you'll recommend it to every friend you know who also has an extraordinary woman hiding inside her. If you want to know how the work might transform your life specifically, or you know that you work better with personal motivation, use the Calendly link in the show notes to schedule a free discovery call with me. Whichever you do, don't wait. You've already waited long enough that, like Lara, you're going to be wishing you'd started sooner. Today, I feel thankful that I'm living, truly living my one precious life. I no longer numb the drinking, binge eating, shopping, and constant busyness has disappeared from my life. I don't replay conversations in my mind hoping to get a different outcome. I let myself be. Sometimes I have hairy legs and unpainted nails and a beautiful makeup-free face. I support myself. When I need something, I own it and ask for it. I put down boundaries. I don't second guess myself. And the relief I feel and the time I got back from having stopped the rumination train and the need to scroll, that adds up to truckloads of energy that I put into building more of what I love. And what I love is in full bloom. My dog's sassy tail wagging walk when I'm out in the afternoon of my schedule it the way you like it life, laying on the kitchen floor laughing after having completed the personalized toe touch butt shaking celebratory high five with my son, feeling the flood of goosebumps during a visualization session of my future, replying to comments on YouTube feeling grateful to share the growth, and savoring the warmth when someone in my training tells me I hold space and reflect back to them with such grace and skill. I am telling you, get on this. Do it for yourself. It is worth it to be working on what feeds your soul and creating an extraordinary life that reflects the vision you have inside. Thank you for listening. If this episode resonated with you, leave us a comment and a rating. Tell us what you liked. Also, share it with someone you know who is wondering if there is more than this. Someone who feels lackluster and listless about their life. Come create your extraordinary lives together. With love, until next time.